All right, no chance we waste another 24 seconds watching that bullshit. We got big guests here. We cannot be wasting time on stuff like that. We're coming off a hot night. I've tried to say his name in the chat like 40 times. You won't even know. Takes down the 12K last night. So if it's not going to be me, at least it's someone in the chat, and I respect the hell out of that. Turned a black badge into a red badge, and now he's got 12K beside his name. Love to see it. Badge Brigade getting things done out there. But we're going real football guy today. Real football guy. You know, Nez and I have been out here just spitting rumors and just guesswork the whole time. And then these guys do the Lord's work, figure it all out, give us the real answers, and now we get to pick their brains. So our first time recurring guests, friends of the show, we got Mark Garcia from 1 Week Season NBC Sports Edge, and we got Peacock Pat Kerrane, carving some time out of his day. Instead of hanging out with Matthew Berry, he's hanging out with us today. What's going on, gentlemen?
What's up, guys?
Let's go.
Yo.
Excited. It's Friday. I got the juices going. I'm on the mend. I was feeling a little sick a couple days ago. Now I'm back. I'm ready.
Yeah, baby.
Did my readings. Let's go.
I love it. Pat, I got a personal question for you. When they butter you up, get you ready for the camera there, get you all ready to go on with Matt Berry, do the butterflies start going? Are you cool?
It's weird. The couple times I've been like a little more nervous than I thought, but then sometimes I'm like, I don't feel anything. You know what I mean? So it's like, but it's not like the first time. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I just feel. I honestly think it's like related to how much sleep I get the night before.
It's all about that readiness score. All about that readiness.
Yeah.
I would have thought it would have been most applicable whether or not you like got a good pregame shit in. You know, like that was always for me.
That's like you're going to play a sport. You got to empty the tank before
it's like,
you get out there.
One of the big rules like flying airplanes is like you're going to be strapped to this ejection seat for like 9 hours before a mission. So it's like you got to make sure that you take your pregame shit, or else the mission's going to go to hell.
Is it like coffee? Will you resort to laxatives? Like, what's the plan?
Oh, dude, you just gotta like plan the night before and like just like I'm save that for the morning.
It's a day before thing.
Yeah. You gotta be cognizant
of that. 24 hours.
Oh yeah.
We're 3 minutes in and we're already talking shit. Like, come on.
So when they talk about like planning the mission and everything, they're just talking about the shit?
Oh yeah, for sure.
We're Bal Bros now.
That's right. No, dude, like so you would have like a day in the life of like a naval aviator is like you plan for like 3 hours prior to your mission, and then you go fly the mission. The mission is 9 fucking hours. And then you come home, you land back on the boat, and then you go debrief what you just did. You pass over all your footage. You talk about what you did. You talk about how you can get better. And then, so like your mission day is like a 13-hour day. So there's like no time to shit. So like you got to make sure you take your pregame, dude. So yeah, that's
one in the handbook.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't think we'd get there today, gentlemen, but
let's
here
go.
Here we
Starting
are.
it off.
I actually think it's pretty interesting. So you eat like binding foods the day before? We can move on. I'm just
We'll talk offline.
Yeah. Little Raisin Bran for breakfast that day or what?
Yeah. Cliff bars,
man, this is good. Okay, so gentlemen, you guys have been diving into this slate, coming out on the other end here. I got a bunch of questions that I want to ask based on underdog related stuff that we've been seeing. And first things first, we've seen the ADP of both Aaron Jones and Amon-Ra St. Brown be the two highest risers this week. Is that correct?
Well, Aaron Jones is a cover boy on the walkthrough, so I feel good about him.
When I saw that this morning, I was like, this is the blessing and the curse we need today. Like, this is...
No, I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, just based on like what the Packers have been doing, like you pointed out, like, yeah, they're not necessarily the most like pass happy team, which like benefits Aaron Jones. Then if they are going to throw, like, well, shoot, that benefits Aaron Jones too. And this game has one of the highest totals on the slate. And I think just that Packers offense in general is being really overlooked in these battle royale streets. If you like Aaron Jones right now and maybe a little bit of Tunyon, those are the only Packers going in most of these drafts. Like Aaron Jones and Aaron Rodgers like really does not go a lot. So I think that, just looking at that game environment offers some upside. And I'm not sure what the latest is on Lazard, but I feel like he offers some like really nice leverage as well. Do you know the latest on him, John, by chance? I haven't checked.
I think he's 34 and a bit here. I'll pull it up while we're talking just because it's more interesting to have stuff on the screen than just our faces. So
he got up to a limited practice yesterday.
That's what I was looking up. Yeah, I thought that he was back at practice. Yeah,
that's big for them.
The thing with that game that I think a lot of people are probably going to miss is it probably has the widest range of outcomes from a game environment perspective of like the high game total games. It's probably like we can assume with a high degree of certainty that the Packers are going to have some form of success against the Lions. It's the Lions. Like they're near the bottom of the league in DVOA against the rush, against the pass. So we can assume that they will probably see some form of success. The issue is that, or I guess that leaves the game environment, like the driving force behind how that game's eventually going to play out, kind of in the Lions' laps here. So with like all the stuff that they have going on, like we can expect them to approach the game in a similar fashion. So like all the trade deadline movement and the injuries that they've had is not going to affect like their game plan. So we could probably expect them to come out like trying to slow the game down, trying to, have these elevated rush rates. At the same time, like they are probably the team who is most likely to increase aggression as they've shown in the second half of games this year. So like, there's just a wide range of outcomes betting on the Lions succeeding here because we've seen like this two-faced offense where it was like they were leading the league in scoring over the first 5 weeks. And then they come back like over the next 2 weeks as they're struggling through all these injuries and they lay up a bunch of stinkers. So like, what do they have going on? Like TJ Hawkinson left, obviously they have DJ Shark is on the IR. They've just got Josh Reynolds was a Thursday downgrade in practice. So he went from a limited showing to now a DNP on Thursday. So that's like late week downgrades. We know like they're not going to play or not going to be effective. So probably like my favorite play in that entire game from a DFS standpoint is probably Detroit's tight end, James Mitchell, who's stone min price and provides like an interesting path on such an ugly tight end slate for like some upside here.
Yeah. Well, I want to jump in.
Get cleared. He had a concussion last week.
He went from DNP Wednesday to limited Thursday, so it appears he's on the right path to clearing, but he's not cleared yet.
Okay. That's an interesting thought about that game as well. It does remind me a little bit of like the Cowboys game or maybe even the Patriots in terms of how it could go. Like I do think you're right that the Lions are going to want to play this through the run. Packers massive run funnel, as you mentioned, they're terrible against the run. So I think this game could end up being kind of not all that fun. Like I would be inclined to take the under on this game. At the same time, I think Aaron Jones can get there. Part of me wonders if like DeAndre Swift is the more interesting way to play this than Amon-Ra St. Brown this week. Certainly, people are scared off of him after he didn't really play as much as we thought he would last week. But
it's only the negative, right? The news.
He played over half the snaps last week. And I thought he looked good. I know they said he wasn't fully healthy. He loses 2 touchdowns to Jamal Williams, but explosive runner going against a terrible run defense. He could easily rip off a couple long ones. He's not going to get a workhorse role, but we knew. I mean, he's DeAndre Swift. You didn't draft him to be a workhorse.
Yeah. Are we scared about like the high value touches? Like, are we scared about that goal line role just being Jamal's though?
I think he's going to lose some of them for sure. I mean, he was already losing some before he was injured. Jamal Williams was getting like 4th and short carries, used at the goal line. Like that's a bit of a fact of life, but it's not like he doesn't disappear at the goal line. He's still involved in the mix.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think probably the biggest like hit on Swift is like after the first game, he has not seen over 16 running back opportunities. So it's just like he's got to get there on efficiency and touchdowns. But this matchup, like that said, this is the matchup for
this is the spot he would do that in. Yeah.
I agree that like the under here is like definitely like intriguing to me, like very much so. The only reason the thing that stinks is like I want to take that angle against Vegas. However, like Underdog, the public in these in the main slates are also fading this game. Like on the whole, like there's like Jamal Williams is really not getting drafted a ton. DeAndre Swift isn't getting drafted a ton. So
yeah, Swift's ADP is 35.6. Although I did see him go 102 today by someone just trying to get unique and build from the front end. Which was interesting. But yeah, I basically have very rarely seen him. And the most common combination from this game is the Amon-Ra and Aaron Jones mini.
Mm-hmm. And I think hitting on that the tight end, gosh, I don't even remember his name.
James Mitchell.
Right.
James Mitchell, yeah.
Just because tight end is so gross this week, like I think that like we should be looking at a guy like James Mitchell or even Brock Wright, just like getting kind of gross at tight end, I think makes sense this week. If you're like, if you're balancing your exposures or trying to shoot for that 50K, I think going for one of these low owned type of plays at tight end this week kind of makes sense given how disgusting the player pool is.
Yeah, let's talk macro for 1 second about that, about the whole slate, because I think the slate feels very flat at the onesies positions. The slate feels very flat at quarterback outside of JA, and that's kind of it in my opinion. And then everybody's kind of gravitating towards stacks outside of that. And then the tight end position feels like Pitts is kind of getting thrust up. Gerald Everett with all the news about the pass catchers with the Chargers getting thrust up. And outside of that, it's just kind of run backs and stacks and trying to bank a touchdown. Do we see anything different there? Is there any outliers that you guys see?
I thought Pat had a good point about in the walkthrough, just talking about how like the Bears don't really get pressure at all. And I am really into Tua this week, like very, very much into Tua. Like, okay. I think
love that one. Yeah.
Hill and Tua to me in this is like, you can get Hill sometimes like really late, which like honestly is probably like better to like, I have no problem taking like Tua in the second just because of how flat things kind of are, even at like at the running back position. Like, yeah, we have guys thrust up, but there's other like spots that I think right now, especially after some of this injury news, that I think can really be, a high leverage points. Like just to name an example, like Deion Jackson against the Patriots with Jonathan Taylor not practicing, like ETR hasn't projected to be out. I think that's something like just mixing up like these like chalky stacks with some of these low owned running backs that are in like decent spots. Seems to me like the way to go about this week, or at least how I'm going to be. But yeah, just the fact that Tua just shreds defenses, and now he's actually going to have a little bit more time to throw. To me, seems like Hill or Waddle really seem like smashes.
I think it is pretty interesting. Like you're not having to be that right? Like we saw Tua just go off against a terrible defense that can't really stop anything. Now he gets another terrible defense that can't stop anything, and people are like, nah, not interested.
It's like it's the Bears. It's just because it's the Bears. Yeah. I swear, like people still have this like image in their head that the Bears are like a tough defense and like a bad 1980s matchup. This game total is really high. Like given the slate, it's not really
given
high.
That the Bears aren't going to score many points.
45 and a half, right? Yeah, like that's a 25 heavy implied total for the
25 on the team side. Do you guys have the same thing at 1 week season right now, Mark? Same total?
25
thereabouts. Yeah, 25.
What was the implied team total for the Dolphins last week? Would it have been like 26 and a half or something? It's not
good question.
Not that much.
It was a -3 spread at like 51 and a half. So I think like 27. That's some really quick math.
28.25 according to
it's down a little bit. Yeah.
And that's with a -4 spread. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. I've been gravitating to a doubles like pretty early there. I don't know, where do you guys come out on doubles versus singles? Like, do you think it's necessary to go to a plus both pass catchers, or do you think we could just keep mixing and matching one or the other? Is there a preference there?
I think you want exposure to both, to be honest. Tyreek Hill is the volume guy, and then Jalen Waddle is the like intended air yards guy. Like both of them are top 20 in intended air yards. They're top 20 in pretty much all like pass catching metrics. So like and they combine for like 65% of like the available air yards in Miami. So like you're getting this And I guess like circling back, it probably depends on the double stack on the offense. And this is like a highly, highly concentrated offense. So that makes like so much sense. I want exposure to both.
I think double stacks are totally fine. Yeah, because your point about the air yards there. No one else is really involved. Mike Gesicki was down to like a 60% route rate last week. Yeah. Hunter Long and Durham Smythe were both playing. So it's really just like these two guys. When you look at the first read targets, like Tyreek Hill is absolutely smashing. And then it's like, okay, well, I assume there's not a ton of first read throws then going to Jalen Waddle. No, he's getting a ton of those too. It's just no one else. It's no one else. Like he drops back, he looks for a while, or he looks for Tyreek, and that's like the whole offense. And it's working. Both guys are getting double a ton. You can't take them away.
Who would have thought pairing a highly accurate passer with two guys that are just open all the time would have been like
and then only looking for them.
And getting the ball out so quick, right? Like he's been getting the ball out so fast that it's like they just have to get open off the line like that, and he's got the slant route, he's got the screen, he's got whatever every time.
Yeah, just power to Mike McDaniel too for just like not messing around. He's like these are the guys like he really, we talked about this before, is like Miami really has like, and maybe even now 4, but they really have like 3 cheetahs. It's like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Raheem Mostert, and they just brought in Jeff Wilson, who's a burner as well. Yeah. So like this team is just built to get the ball to their playmakers in space and just go. Like you go do your thing, dude.
One more piece of Dolphins hype is that a couple of years ago, Hayden Winks had an article about how over the middle targets are really valuable, compared to sideline targets, which makes sense, especially like in an offense like this where you're looking for yards after catch and everything. And NFL Next Gen had a tweet this week looking at the most receptions in the middle of the field with 10 plus air yards. So, kind of like intermediate or deep targets in the middle of the field. Tyreek Hill leads the way with 16. Jalen Waddle has 15. Tua has the most completions in the league at 32. The second place quarterbacks, 3 are tied: Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. They all have half as many of these completions as Tua.
Wild.
It's wild. Mike McDaniel
and Tua didn't play one game.
Offense. Yes,
he play a game.
He played multiple games. Yeah,
he's only played 4 full games.
That's a stat.
Cheers to Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, right.
Hey,
our
cheers
king.
to Mike McDaniel being the guy we wanted Brandon Staley to be. I'm gonna die on that hill. I'm dying on that hill.
Man, I mean, if we want to transition to that game, because I think that game is interesting. I think that situation might be a little bit Pete Carroll, Russ Wilson-esque. The Chargers and Falcons. Because like, and how much of it is injury related? Like, how much of it is injury related? Who knows? But like,
at the top, bro.
But just like the way that Herbert's been playing, but and Staley's still letting him like sling it. But I do wonder how much of this Herbert stuff is injury related, and how much are we just maybe jumped the gun a little bit on what he's capable of.
I think it's a little bit of both. And you like look at the Chargers offense. It is expected to be so highly concentrated this week. We have no Mike Williams. Keenan Allen is banged up. He's probably not going to play. Austin Eckler
downgraded.
Austin Eckler. Well, he's down. So he was downgraded to limited, and he had a tummy issue. So it's like,
it sounds like you before a flight.
Exactly. So he's pre-gaming. It's like, I'll miss practice, bro, but I'm going to take that shit and I'll be there for the game.
We all thought Nez called Mike McDaniel.
I think I was breaking up in the middle of that. So that was, there was some slippage there.
We were all offended. Everyone went silent. What did you say, Nez?
Get him off.
You go.
Oh man, timeout.
There goes Ned.
Rude.
Do you feel
okay? Yeah. Let's go. Chargers pass catchers here. I think this is a very important point of leverage, both in terms of the DFS slate and in terms of our slate, because you're going to get price down wide receivers and maybe Gerald Everett as like a play in what is the flat tight end position this week. Where are we coming out on concentration of Chargers offense this week?
It's Austin Eckler and it's Josh Palmer, man.
Okay.
Like if you look at the usage of Gerald Everett this year, like he hasn't played more than 66% of the offensive snaps since week 3. And that was the only week he's done it. So this is an offense where they're not running a ton of 12 personnel. It's probably going to change a little bit this week with the injuries that they have with their, their top two pass catchers being out, which probably is going to increase his snap rate, his route participation rate, all that good stuff. But like Josh Palmer is super interesting to me this week as a guy that's being hyped up by Austin Eckler was on a podcast that hyped him up this week. Head coach hyped him up this week. So he's a guy that's like probably the most direct fill-in for the role of Mike Williams, and they're probably going to utilize DeAndre Carter in that Keenan Allen role.
DeAndre Carter is actually sorry.
No. Go.
DeAndre Carter is a little more interesting to me than Palmer, but I think it's just like a weird read that I have where I just feel like the issue with Herbert has been he can't hit intermediate throws this year. He's not attempting them at nearly as high a rate as he did last year. His deep throw rate's actually up slightly from last year. He hasn't been good on deep throws either, but like the kind of the Herbert that we know and love, I feel like may have been more affected by Keenan Allen not being in than we realized. Plus they haven't been able to protect very well. Yeah. But I'm feeling like, so I was looking at the first read stuff for Josh Palmer. He hasn't been hyper targeted as the first read this year, but he's had a few games with like a decent amount of first read targets, which, makes me wonder how much higher the ceiling really is for him, even with these guys out. Like they're already incorporating him. He's been a part of the game plan at times. And, in certain games, it felt like they were just peppering with targets. He still hasn't really produced. His yards per out run has not been good, even in those games. So it makes me wonder, like DeAndre Carter flashed a little bit in week 1. He's never really been a big part of the game plan. Maybe if they're looking for him a little bit more, I don't know. I guess I'm just like kind of worried Josh Palmer stinks is really what it comes down to.
Yeah. That's funny that you went there because my counterpoint to what Mark said without any real hand in the dirt take was just, what if he sucks? That's all I was going to say. Like,
if he sucks, it might just be Carter. Because Carter, I feel like it's easier to be the slot guy, right?
Yeah. Interesting. 94% of snaps last week.
Regardless, it seems like if you're drafting at volume this week that like you should be incorporating in some of these guys because they're so low owned and this game total is so high. Like it could all be Austin Eckler, but like, chances are that if this total is going to hit or get close to it, it's Palmer or Carter. One of the two is going to be like a startable piece for you this week. So
when I wrote this game up, I don't know the salaries or anything. I digged into all that today. And when I was writing it up, I was like, oh, one of these guys, maybe both, will be cheap wide receiver chalk on DraftKings and everything. Like, it just seemed obvious that would be the case, and it's not. It's not.
Because I think it's because they are slightly priced up, like Palmer at 5,100, Carter at 4,300, Band even at 3,500. So, and then Everett's 4,800, and then Eckler's in that 8K range. So, I mean, it is like they are kind of priced to the point where they weren't expecting Williams or Allen. Right. So we're not getting that punt 3K or that punt whatever. What do you guys think about pairing Eckler and Herbert and just going, this is a 20 target game?
I think it's
100% viable. Yeah.
Probably the most like if you're going to stack Herbert, like Eckler's absolutely like 1A and then like six tiers below. And then it's like Josh Palmer or Carter. Like it's,
because Herbert's like not cheap. Like if I feel like Herbert, Palmer, or Carter stacks aren't winning you anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
You need someone who's actually going up.
Yeah.
It's interesting because in our ADP, Eckler is first, kind of that 1 to 3 off the board range. And then Herbert is usually QB2 after Josh Allen almost exclusively, but most people are just backstacking him with Everett. And they're kind of like, that's it. Like that's the majority in which I've seen is just an Everett quick backstack. And then, I've seen a little bit of Palmer. I've seen Carter once or twice. That's about it. But I'm not seeing a ton of it outside of that. Is there merit to naked Herbert and just like not playing him with the pass catchers because we don't know where the ball's going and he's going to spread it around?
I don't think so. I think the path to Herbert, like you have to think about each particular quarterback and what their path is to like breaking the slate. because really we're looking for like the top overall score at the position, right? Particularly in best ball contests. So like his path to breaking the slate is yardage and touchdowns through the air. Like there's really no other path for him particularly. So like in order for him to do that, we have to then look at like the state of his pass catchers. And it's really like there's 4 potential guys. Really, we can like maybe call it even 3 if we don't think, the tight ends are going to increase their role. So it's like he has Eckler, who's probably going to see a ton of targets this week. He has DeAndre Carter and he has Josh Palmer. Like, so it's a fairly condensed or expected to be condensed offense. And so if Herbert's going to break the slate through yardage and touchdowns, those have to go to like those 3 guys, right? So I think it depends on the offense. And for that particular offense, I think you want to stack them up if you're playing Herbert.
Okay.
I think so too.
Yeah, I can get it. Yeah. What about the other side of that ball? We talked a little bit about the Cordell Patterson coming back this week. Is it too soon to get cute with that and mix him in as a last round pick?
No.
Yeah, I think, he's pretty interesting. I guess my concern with him would be, I wonder if, like I wrote in the walkthrough, I wonder if Caleb Huntley still has a pretty decent role in this game. And maybe Patterson basically just like comes in and takes over the Algier role. Because they're sort of, I feel like maybe more of like a 1-to-1 where Huntley is like a bigger dude. He leads the NFL right now, NFL Next Gen success rate metric. He's number 1 among all running backs. Kind of like
that's a stat of the day.
That's the most shocking stat I've heard all
Good
year.
for the big fella. I love to hear it.
It's kind of crazy. But like a thunder and lightning approach might make sense, and we know that the Falcons are going to be super run heavy here. The Chargers, one of these defenses, so there's like a handful of these defenses this year that can't stop anything. They're not a run funnel this season because they can't stop the pass, and they've played some teams that prefer to pass, but they also can't stop the run. The Falcons are going to run all over them. I think that would be maybe your biggest concern if you're playing like Herbert and stuff, is that the Falcons, they play slow, they're super run heavy, and they're probably going to be successful. They're going to be moving the chains and be able to sustain drives, So I guess I'd be nervous about maybe going Herbert and a running back coming back because you want the Falcons to have to move off that game plan a little bit.
Yeah, maybe he mixes in better as just like a pure one-off and isn't a correlated piece to the game environment. But it's interesting because we've kind of painted the same narrative with the Falcons for 2-3 weeks now, and all they've done is shoot the lights out for us, right? Like they've done it weird, and they've done it on the ground, and they've done it in very strange manners, but they've got home. So it's interesting. I think they're just breaking so many models right now. It makes no sense.
Yeah, dude.
It is weird. Like even last week they had, I think they were tied with the Panthers for the 4th lowest pass rate over expected. Like they did not want to be fun. They were forced to be fun. They went to overtime. It's kind of like they're still that same Falcons team.
Be fun, damn it. Do something.
Actually, while we're there, where do we come out on Kyle Pitts? Is he our favorite tight end on the slate this week?
I'm nervous about Pitts.
Are you?
Okay.
I think that's a relative statement because the state of the tight end position on this.
Okay, maybe I'm not nervous about Pitts. I just looked at the other tight ends.
yeah, man, it's bad. It's
Zach
dire
Ertz
straits.
is the highest priced tight end on DraftKings this week. Like, let that sink in for a minute.
Oof.
Right. Yeah. That's where I'm kind of coming out too, is where I've kind of been gravitating towards Pitts because he does seem like a talent outlier. You can twist my arm on Everett because of the volume and potential opportunity there to see increased, production with the wide receivers out. The other one that really my eyes have been gravitated towards, especially now that he's mixed in a couple practices, is a damn near undrafted Darren Waller. Anything there?
We get a swap if he doesn't play. So like that as for a draft strategy, like I think he makes a ton of sense to like make him a priority. If he does play, you got to figure he's going to see the field, right? I can't unless he's has what happened the last time he played where he played 2 snaps and he's off the field. Like there's always, I guess, that risk, but I can't imagine they would let something like that happen again. So I like the fact that you can get a swap off of him. If you guys have thoughts on Darren Waller, feel free.
I got a little bit actually. I want to look up the stats first, so talks amongst you.
Sure.
Okay. Well, I'll bring up
quickly,
one.
Go ahead, Ben.
I think the Raiders could be okay here. Like last week's game, obviously was a total disaster. If they get another decent, like the weird thing about last week's game is that the Saints are a pretty easy matchup.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is another easy matchup. So it feels like it doesn't feel great to be like, I don't know, it's the NFL. Weird things happen. This is an easy matchup. They should be okay. But that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah,
on
right.
the Raiders.
Yeah.
My thing is like I'm blaming. I'm like not like completely because I think McDaniel is like a bit of a dunce, but I think that Devontae Adams like not being 100% last week, I think held them back a ton.
Me too.
Oh yeah,
That's what I'm chalking it up to.
He's being utilized the same in Las Vegas as he was in Green Bay. So like think back like to what Devontae Adams being limited would have done to the Packers. It's kind of the same thing.
It might be someone from Detroit, low key.
It's James Mitchell, dude.
By the way, I looked up Mitchell, and because I remember him being kind of an interesting prospect.
Yeah,
he is an interesting. He's an interesting prospect. So the issue with him is that he tore his ACL, and this year looked like it was going to be like a redshirt year. So I kind of he was off the radar for me fantasy wise. Because I was like, you know what? You're going to draft a rookie who then doesn't play at all this season. Like everyone's going to forget about him. Like you don't have to draft him in rookie drafts and everything. It's kind of where I was at. But like, I guess I underestimated how quickly he would return. He has 19% career market share of yards, which is like solid for a tight end. And he was decently efficient in yards per route run. He's not like an amazing tight end prospect or anything, but he was pretty similar to like Isaiah Likely for me. So he also
that's a big shout. Isaiah Likely's a big shout.
His ADOT was decently high, 9.1 ADOT. One thing I look for with tight ends is like, are you able to stretch the seam, or are you just a pure dump off guy? And he's sort of in between. He doesn't have like Greg Dulcich had a 13.2 ADOT, which is one of the reasons I was so into him. Isaiah Likely a little higher as well, 11.2. So that's like a little more bullish, but Mitchell showed a little receiving juice, and he looks healthy.
Did you check out his 2020 season?
Let me pull it up.
2020. Kerrane, I love how the Broncos aren't even on the main slate, and you still just slid his name in there, right? He was waiting.
So
one thing I want to say, just to close the loop on the Waller point, is peek behind the ETR Leone curtain here. He has Foster Moreau as the number one tight end on the slate right now for our contests.
Let's hold on. I got something to say about that too. So with Darren Waller, Darren Waller has seen his like efficiency metrics like jump off a cliff this year. He's fought through injuries, all that stuff. But the biggest thing here is like the shift in the identity of the Raiders, where it's like it's Devontae Adams through the air, and it's like we're going to ride Josh Jacobs. Like they started the week with 2 games with a pass rate over expectation above league average, and then they've been below league average in every other single game. So like this is very clearly a team, and it makes sense because they have like the top run blocking offensive line in the league. So it makes sense. Like let's try and win games through what we're good at. What they're good at is they're good at running the ball, and Josh Jacobs is like performing like it, and they're good at like feeding Devontae Adams. So like looking at Darren Waller's stats this year, he only has a 73% route participation rate and 17.8% targets per route run rate. Compare that to the tight end on the other side, which is what I wanted to get at here. Evan Ingram, dude, has about a slightly higher route participation.
Yes, tell me more.
Almost cover boy. Look at Pat. Pat's like, I'm almost there. Keep going.
No, I was there already. I just didn't want to bring him up. When you guys like, who's your favorite tight end on the slate? I was like, probably Evan Ingram.
He was so close to being the cover boy. I know it.
He was our first draft of the week. He was our guy. So this is validating our process right here.
Yeah. You
Please
stumbled
continue.
into it. But yes. So Evan Ingram, 74.8% route participation. That's top 12. His snap share, top 12. His slot snaps, he's playing the third most slot snaps at tight end this season.
Ooh.
So that's a plus, right? Yeah. His target rate, his targets per route run rate is 21.6%. So that's like better than Darren Waller, but like not elite. He's like in the middle of the tight end 2 range there. And that's just, I think, a function of it's just kind of a spread offense. But we know that offense is going to want to be passing. We know that they're likely going to be forced to be passing this week. And Evan Ingram is like definitely in the top 7 or 8 like expected fantasy points this week. And if touchdown variance just flows his way, like he could be one of the top overall performers at the position.
Ooh. The other thing that's interesting about him is he's been targeted. He's seen a first read target on 17% of his routes, which matches Christian Kirk. So like he's a part of this offense. He's running all the routes. They're calling plays that are designed to like have him as the first read.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Like it's kind of gross. I've sort of resisted. He's sort of been like creeping up in my numbers all year, and I've been like, go away.
Right.
Now I'm finally like
taking the redacted tag off of him. Like it's time. It's time to let Evan Ingram back into our hearts.
It is.
Well, we all loved him 4 years ago.
Right. I know. It's like 2018
we all loved him.
It was yesterday, dude.
Yeah, exactly. We're coming full circle on the guy now that he's getting an opportunity. The slot snaps nugget is a really big, shocking one to me because I thought that's just where Christian Kirk feasted, right? Like in my mind, I was like, nah, why would he be getting all that work out of the slot? Because isn't that Christian Kirk territory? So that's really cool to see that. I think that's a really nice nugget there. Mark, I had one question for the O-line metric that you were suggesting about the Raiders there. What is the stat that you always quote?
Adjusted line yards is kind of the most predictive. Yeah.
Okay.
That's like, it's kind of the same. It's a little bit different than yards created, which is like the offensive push into the defensive backfield. It's more of like how effective has the offensive line been at blocking weighted for their matchups is kind of the best way to think about adjusted line yards. They're at the top of the league. You know, Josh Jacobs is running the football at an elite rate. Let me pull up the actual stats right quick.
Well, the reason I brought it up and just wanted to harp on it one more time is because I'm looking at O-line versus D-line mismatches. And actually, according to Brandon Thorne, he has that as one of the most favorable in the defensive line's favor this week. So I found it interesting. Yeah, that's a very interesting contradiction there. So
Las Vegas is blocking to 5.54 adjusted line yards. Their running backs are averaging 5.4 yards per carry. So that's like elite. Elitely. The Jags are ceding 4.15 adjusted line yards, which is 7th in the league. So they are above average on the defensive side of the ball. But they are basically middle of the pack in second level yards allowed. So like their linebacking core, they're basically middle of the pack in open field yards allowed. So this is not like a prohibitive matchup. And when you have like this overpowering offensive line, it does wonders. And Josh Jacobs is a very, very capable, like one read cut and go running back. And that's kind of what they're utilizing him for.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like that. I just wanted some clarity there. That's sharp.
I think the thing with the Jaguars is that the Raiders are going to blow this probably because of the Raiders. But let's remember let's remember the fact that they are frauds. The Jaguars defense is fraudulent. They faced the Chargers when Justin Herbert is like the game after he had the ribs injury. He was like the least himself all season. They got Jalen Hurts in that win game, in the rain game. The other quarterbacks they faced this season, Carson Wentz, Davis Mills, Matt Ryan, and Daniel Jones. And the Jaguars have lost to all of those quarterbacks.
That's the gauntlet right
awesome. There. Yeah, what do you mean? Did you see Davis Mills last night? He was balling the F out, man. Come on.
Wow.
The Jaguars get the Chiefs next week. Let's just get excited now. If you don't have a great Sunday, just imagine that game. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, but let's low key hope that like they kind of keep the Raiders at bay, and now everybody's like, oh man, like Chiefs got a tough matchup. Like I don't know, and then we just go nuts and just 5 Chiefs in the lineup.
Oh, that's
where's Josh Jacobs going? So he's down in like the 2-3.
He's one of the first running backs off the board.
Yeah, he's like the I've seen him fall to the 3rd round one time, but he's kind of just sitting in that middle of the 2nd round, anywhere between 6 and 11, kind of something like that.
I feel like that's still a discount. You know,
I think so too.
His workload is like top 3 in the league. Like he's at CMC and Saquon level. It's like we can consider him there. And with the way that their offensive line is performing, like he is I am comfortable calling him a legitimate workhorse in the year of our Lord 2022, which is like, who would have thought?
Right, and
definitely
it's
recency bias,
it's so
like-
rare to see, right?
Yeah,
Like it's rare to
think I'd
see
have him
volume like that. Fourth?
personally.
Okay, give me some other names there, Pat.
I mean, Eckler, Aaron Jones, ETN I like more.
Okay.
But like Mixon he's going to get so many short dump offs this week, so he's interesting. But
that's fun because that's exactly where I wanted to go next. My question is Mixon dust? Because he
yes, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, right.
Right.
We just have to like eat that.
Yeah.
His ceiling projection.
No.
His ceiling projection is like RB3 on the slate. And it's like he's gone undrafted a couple times. His ADP is 24, 25, something like this.
Cannot go undrafted. That's bad.
Mixon is 21.9 in ADP. Earlier in the week, he was around that 23, 24. And I've seen him go 5th, 6th round undrafted once or twice. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Dude, the biggest problem with Mixon is like he's running routes at an elite rate, but those routes are like 6 yards down the field and turn your body to present the numbers to the quarterback. Like that is not upside generating. Like you need to get this guy like running a seam or a crossing route and get him in space, because he is just like turning his back, getting tackled, or like trying to like make a juke and make the first tackler miss. But it's like, these are NFL linebackers and they're not going to miss a tackle on a back with his back turned to him.
He's not upside generating because he's Joe Mixon. I have a massive fade position in season-long best ball on Joe Mixon. I think he stinks. I did not buy the he's going to be the product of the offense and everything. I feel like I've been mostly wrong about that. Like his expected points and everything this season have been off the charts. Luckily, he stinks even worse than I thought he did, and he hasn't been able to live up to it. So it hasn't burned me that bad. But I feel like every week I'm like, is this the week that Joe Mixon just completely ends my best ball season? I think maybe this is that week. Last week he saw first 3 targets on 20% of his routes, crushing his previous season high of 13%. That to me feels very much like a plan that the Bengals put in place because they knew pressure might be an issue, right? You're like, they're looking to get the ball right to the running back. They're dropping back right to the running back. I think they're going to do something similar again this week. Obviously last week was a disaster, but I don't see what else they can do. They can't protect Burrow. The Panthers have a pretty good pass rush. Like they're going to have to account for that. We had a couple weeks where the Bengals were able to protect Burrow against very weak pass rushes. Their line is still not good. That's still going to be a problem for them all season. And Mixon, I think, is going to be a part of that plan again. So I don't know, to get him in the 5th, 6th round, or he's not going to be completely owned in these contests. Like, what a smash.
So looking at the Panthers defense, I think that's where like this exploration has to start. They run like a similar defense to what the Bengals saw last week. They run a 4-3 base cover 2 with a lot of dime and nickel packages. With that kind of prevent style defense, and with Jamar Chase like no longer in the lineup, it's going to lead to a lot of like T. Higgins seeing one-on-one coverage or zone coverages. It's going to see it's the matchup. I guess where I'm going at is I think the matchup plays to passes over the middle of the field. They basically run an outside in zone coverage base 4-3. So with 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, the natural space in that coverage when they're in zone is over the intermediate middle of the field. So whether or not like Mixon can see more upside generating routes with like catching the ball without his back turned to the quarterback.
Yeah, a couple Texas routes.
He should have space. And so along those lines, I also really like Tyler Boyd this week. He's probably going to go a little bit under-owned relative to his upside, particularly with Jamar Chase out of the lineup.
Sounds like you're recommending Bengals onslaughts here.
I think that it is viable, and I think that you can get fun and different with it, because a lot of people are just like going to see if they're going to Joe Burrow, they're probably going to want to force T. Higgins in. And I think T. Higgins is probably the player least likely to succeed here.
Interesting. All right.
Oh,
That's a take.
that's a take.
Burrow,
I like
Boyd,
that.
and Mixon. Let's
I'm
go.
low key like really into Panthers +7 just on like on the Vegas side of things. Like I think they just rolled out Mike Hilton for the Bengals, who's like a very very respectable corner.
All 4 of the top cornerbacks for the Bengals have been on the injury report this week.
Jeez Louise.
All 4
Feels like the Ravens all over again.
PJ Runner.
It's like, what's the rookie they have? I forgot his name. The rookie corner who's like came into the season 5th on the depth chart.
He plays on the wrong side of the ball for me to know his name, sir.
He's probably going to see significant work here. Hold on, I'm going to find his name.
Well, they also just lost one of their corners last week.
Cam Taylor Britt.
Yeah, that's him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Taylor Britt. So Eli Apple has been on the injury report. Chidobe Awuzie is probably not going to play. Mike Hilton, the nickel corner, is going to be out. So it's like, who do they have? They have like Trey Flowers is even on the injury report. So like he's been
Awuzie
kind of the
is the guy towards
towards
ACL. He's out.
Yeah, he's out. Yeah. So like Eli Apple's attempting to come back from multiple missed games, I think.
But he's Eli Apple.
Is that a positive?
But he's Eli Apple. Exactly. But like Eli Apple is probably the corner that would match up best with the Panthers or what they have. But like Mike Hilton being out is a massive, massive blow. Because that's kind of would be the primary coverage for like DJ Moore. I'm
a big fan of him.
Is it DJ Moore week again?
Let's take it one step further. Is it Terrace Marshall in a GPP week?
Oh,
I like Terrace a lot this week.
What? Nobody's ever said that before in their life.
No, because
first time for everything.
Look at his snap rate. Look at his snap rate, dude. He's like actually on the field. Played.
Ben Gretsch was touting him a little bit too.
He was.
Oh my God! 2 smart people touting him now. I can't handle this.
I'm telling you, that spread makes no sense. I'm sorry. Like I don't think that is. I think that's +7 right there.
86% in week 7, 93% in week 8. So he is very clearly like established in the wide receiver 2 role. Like we could have said like he might have been like his first game without Robbie in week 7. That might have been a fluke or whatever. But like he is their wide receiver 2. And I think he saw 9 targets last week. He only caught like 3 of them, but he's like a legitimate part of this offense.
Wow. I like it.
It's true.
Yeah, that's a
So like if
I don't like it, I have no pushback. I just don't want to be a part of this.
Right. Yeah, right. Like, I don't want to put
He-
chips on there, but man, it's
I'll put it this way. Terrace Marshall makes a lot of sense on like those kind of weird Bengals onslaught rosters that we were talking about. He makes sense as a very natural bring back where you're playing to this game environment.
That's true.
I'm gonna go ahead and just jump in right now because I know Pat has a hard out and I want to get at least 1 or 2 down the chute before he bounces on us. So
we got Hersig in here.
Oh man,
No
we gotta
way.
deal with the sharps out now.
Pull up his stream.
I want to selfishly ask one question kind of before we jump in this draft. Where do we come out on buying the dip on Cooper Kupp's ankle right now with his ADP being in that 8-ish range opposed to being like a 1-2 guy? And how do we feel about running it back with Tom Brady double stacks?
Go back.
This game, I like wanted to hype this game more throughout the week, but it's like the total's so low. Brady's like, there's just clearly like such a funk around this team that it's like tough to get into it. But like, yeah, it kind of feels like this spot makes a lot of sense for the Buccaneers to have a good game. The Rams are good against the run. They're not that strong against the pass. The Buccaneers offensive line has been protecting well like all season, despite Brady's temper tantrums. Like they've done well. Like he really has no leg to stand on with acting like, you know, he's got some terrible offensive line. But that makes me concerned because it's like, well, they're not going to protect necessarily better. Like maybe he needs like pristine protection to do anything. But sort of similar to the Raiders where it's like, well, yeah, they've struggled against matchups where they should have been good, but this is another easy matchup.
We're clock here. Jefferson, Diggs, Hopkins, ATN, Kupp, Aaron Jones names. We got 5 seconds.
Go Jones. Aaron Jones.
Jones.
Let's get crazy and just take him now.
All right, let's do it. Cover boy. This is for the brand. Cover boy, first round pick. We're pushing up his ADP.
That's for you, Pat. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah. Hey, if Mike Evans catches that 80-yard bomb, the cover boy keeps smashing right there. That was that week that you had Mike Evans on the cover, right?
I think so. No, it wasn't. I had him
It
against
was the week
Steelers
before.
where nothing
yeah.
could have gone right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
And I think I almost
Herzig-
went with Ramondre Stevenson that week, so it was a bit of a shame.
I don't like to read too much into one isolated draft, but Herzig taking Hopkins over this kind of tier of wide receivers kind of interesting there. I mean, we don't know what his exposures
That's
are.
got to be exposure balancing.
Yeah,
There's no
balancing
way.
and whatever. Yeah.
But like also Hopkins easily has like the same floor as those guys, I think, just based on the way that he's been used in that matchup is how I kind of see it.
Much lower chance at ceiling.
What do we think here? Diggs,
100%.
Cup, Waddle. What do you guys think?
All
I
are
haven't
great.
seen.
I think Diggs this late is like
I don't think I've
smash.
seen Diggs fall like this. And
Like-
I don't
like-
to be honest, I don't really want to give up this Diggs
Gotta-
Allen here.
Hell no. And plus,
I know-
like there's I have no concern over Diggs this week, like at all.
No,
like I
me
get
neither.
like the matchup, but like like Pat, you wrote up like a lot of really good stuff about how Diggs has been used and like the best offense in the league. It's like you bet on him pretty much every single week.
Yep.
Of course he did.
Yeah, right.
King.
Yeah,
He's the king. He's the
just
king
posted that
for
on
a
Twitter.
reason. Oh man.
You got to hope one guy falls here, yeah?
I think
God?
yeah, she's he
You
name
gotta-
drops.
you can't
Come
put
on,
that
we're
out there,
streamers
dude.
now, man. We're streamers now.
You were kind of like playing it cool there for a second. Then you're like,
Yeah.
who I mean is Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, 100%. The classic home league draft where the guy's whispering to like the buddy
God
beside
damn
him.
it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The other guy
and
can't whisper, so he's just yelling out who he wants.
There goes Amon-Ra.
Oh, man.
Yeah, kind of gross. We don't really have any natural run back. We could mix in a Swift later. We could do this Joe Mixon and go kind of with the Joe Burrow Mixon double kind of thing we were talking up.
Let's get weird.
I'd do it.
We could
Let's
do a
take
Gabe Davis
Mixon.
run back. Okay.
Well, that's not even a run
I
back,
guess
that's just
it's
a
not run
stack,
back.
but-
My bad.
But
Yeah,
still,
my bad.
but
I'm
still,
an idiot.
I think doing that without Allen is like pretty thin. But yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
me too.
I don't think I could do that. But
Okay.
but I do think we can get Boyd like easily, right? And
Yeah. I think that's the thought process when you go mix in there. We could go Burrow on the way back if he's still there. Then we can go Boyd. We get that double. And then at the tight end position, we just take our boy from Detroit.
take whoever the hell we want because it doesn't
take-
matter.
We take Mitchell. We take our boy James Mitchell from Detroit to get that,
there we
that
go.
run back that nobody
Let's
else
go.
has.
I would actually. I mean, I know that's a good bit, but like if we could get a run back, like I'm just gonna say it. If we can just onslaught Green Bay and get Tunyon there, I think that's also like interesting too.
Oh, that's a fun idea. Yeah,
I like that.
I'm about it. Interesting. Herzig going with Kyler Murray there. Kyler Murray is ETR's QB1 as of right now.
Do you have to
So-
consider Pitts here, even though the Bengals thing going on? Like, do you have to?
I mean,
just 'cause
if
it's
you
the
want
fourth
to,
round?
I kind of. No, he's
he's kinda
routinely
just
available.
we think he's head and
Yeah.
shoulders above the
Yeah.
tier.
Disregard. There isn't a tier of tight ends.
Honestly, we talked up this and Mark
There's no tier.
twisted all our arms about how Kerrane's talking mix and ceiling and how it might not matter, and then you were talking up Tyler Boyd over the middle. It's for the brand that we got to build this team.
It's a blend. It's a
Yeah.
blend of our guests here. This is great.
Yeah,
This is
it's like a
what we need.
friendship bracelet. With each of us get a little bead, you know.
Yeah. So this team is going to finish dead last.
Yeah, but we'll be friends.
It's the friends we made along the way, not the $50,000. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually,
That's what
I
we're
did
building
something.
here.
I did something that's pretty rare. I think I finished dead last or in the bottom 5 last night of the spy, the smaller spy, and the double spy.
Wow.
It was the
Dude.
greatest screenshot of all time.
If you're not going to win, you might as
Congratulations.
well be last. Dude.
If you ain't first.
Yo, what do you guys think about this? We can take Pitts now.
All right. Whatever.
You want it or
Fine.
no?
Yeah,
Yes or no?
because
Yes or no?
Might as
Herzig's
well.
building a monster, and if he gets Pitts, like that would his
Wait.
team's pretty sick. if he can pull
Herzig will be the
draft board.
first guy to tell you that we can't play defense in one isolated draft. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
guess what?
Nez?
Well, guess what? We just won DPOY with that pick. So
Deontay Foreman. That's a guy I haven't really been mixing in a ton this week. It makes sense now that we've seen Chuba get downgraded that he's going to basically have that same workload.
Yeah,
as
he's ruled out now. It's a flat out tag.
Oh, and we got absolutely body bagged by Will for the streamer snipe equity.
I'm cursing you out in my head right now. That's absurd. That's preposterous.
Well, you know what's kind of fun is we could do
DJ Moore.
We got the DJ Moore run back.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of fun too.
Let's do
there's
that.
There's one other question I had for you guys. Pat in particular there. Oh, Herzig's all over that Waller, of course he is. I had a question about the stickiness of what we saw from the Jets last week with both Garrett Wilson and why am I blanking on the Tyler Conklin?
Tyler Conklin,
Is there anything there? I'm going to jump one more. Pat, you got time for one more? We got 5-6 minutes, something like that.
I might have to jump off a couple minutes in, but
yeah, sure. Yeah, no worries.
Samesies.
Okay. These guys, these big network guys got hard outs and stuff. Nez and I are just gonna be, we're just gonna be drafting until tomorrow.
Literally, I got a lot of catching up to do. I wasn't drafted much earlier in the week because I literally had no energy to do so. Because when you get a sinus infection like me, a guy like me, man, the man cold just absolutely just knocks me out. Just a haymaker, little sniffles and I'm on the couch all day. Sorry.
Good. So circling back to your Jets question.
Yeah, Jets question, please. Yeah.
Tyler Conklin and Garrett Wilson and Denzel Mims were the only pass catchers to play more than 75% of the offensive snaps last week.
Wow.
So it's this team is fighting through some demons on the field issues, off the field issues. Yeah. So Elijah Moore played 10 snaps last week. And with Corey Davis out, it's they don't, for some reason, I don't know what the reason is, but they do not want Braxton Berrios playing a lot of snaps. They've kept him to 51% last week, 56% the week before. So that is creating this relatively concentrated offense. It's
Go ahead, sorry.
No. I think I'm done there. I got nothing.
Connor Rogers was mentioning, I think off air, he was talking about how his theory on the Mims stuff was that with Corey Davis out, the team really does want a big-bodied wide receiver that can help in the run game, and that might be why we're seeing so much Denzel Mims, who we know is in the doghouse. They don't have big plans for Denzel Mims, but he is big.
We have the same decision again right here. Do we want to do something different, build something a little different here? Who do you guys like? Jefferson, Diggs, Etienne? You said Etienne earlier.
I think Etienne's a really strong play.
Let's do that.
Let's do it.
But yeah, so if Mims is going to be out there a ton, Mims doesn't draw targets. He's just, if he's out there mostly to block.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, one of only 3 guys who's really in a full-time role. Garrett Wilson ran around on 98% of dropbacks last week. That was a season high, not just for him, but for any Jets wide receiver all season. So I think, he is someone that I do want to take some stabs on, even though I think Zach Wilson's going to ruin it. But he's been double teamed at a high rate all year. It hasn't mattered. He's crushing in yards per hour and against double teams. You can't really take him away. Only Zach Wilson can take this guy away. Tyler Conklin is pretty interesting to me as well. I actually didn't write him up, but that was an oversight because he was targeted on 35% of his routes last week. He's going to be out there a bunch. It really could be down to him and Wilson soaking up most of the targets.
Concur.
I like that. I like mixing in Wilson as a run back then in these Bills ones now that you say that. What do we like here? Should we try for it again?
Let's do it again. Let's
get
the best
run it, man. Yeah.
Let's get I've been building very differently in these contests on a week-to-week basis, just based on what the positions are like and this sort of thing. But I am sort of gravitating towards these 2 running back builds now, just because of the value of touchdowns. I think we've understated the value of touchdowns in a FanDuel style scoring contest where we're basically just trying to hit a 6 parlay of, multiple touchdown scorers. Mm-hmm. So
we talked about that early in the year where
we did,
scoring was down across the NFL. Goal lines touches were down across the NFL. Defensive pass interference calls in the end zone were down across the NFL. And we're seeing the aggressive like correction to that here with the number of viable like our running backs on a weekly basis.
Guys, I got to
I
run.
don't know what you.
All right,
Okay.
Pat. Thanks for coming
being
on.
here.
Yeah, thanks for
Appreciate
having me
you.
on, guys. This is fun.
Always.
See you,
man.
Pat.
Later.
Who do you guys like here? We got 9 seconds.
I'm cool with T. Like I know we just drafted some Bengals. This is kind of the same team, but we're mixing it up at the same time.
Okay.
Like
I got to run too, boys. I'm sorry.
All right.
No worries,
Yeah,
man.
no worries,
Thanks for
man.
coming on. Always a
Yeah.
pleasure chopping it up with you.
That was fun, man. We'll see you
Love
guys.
it.
Peace.
All right, see you, bud.
Sorry,
No, we're good.
helping you out.
All right, yeah, let's see. Okay, so we got Higgins here. That's always fun, man. Those guys are so dialed.
Man, that's a
Like,
blast,
with the
right? It's
football
it's
guy
such a.
knowledge.
I don't want to butter up our guests too much and seem like I'm so, but it's always a blast, man, to get to talk with these guys, like, and pick
Yeah.
their brains over this stuff and kind of get our priors either shunned or correct or approved. I forget what I'm trying to say.
BRNDXQ. He's the guy who won the 50K last week.
Oh, really? Look at him rocking the
Yeah.
horns too. That's
Yeah,
sick.
all straight into the goat horns. Respect. Love to see it. And then friends and family draft here. We got Chip, we got Blake, we got Paul. This is fun.
Yeah. So I don't know what your thoughts are, dude, but like I've taken Tua without Waddle and Hill. Like I
have yet to do it, but I'm down to do it.
If people haven't read Pat's walkthrough, like the Bears stink and Tua just like he shreds defenses, and normally he's like under a little bit more duress. The Bears are just not gonna be able to do that. The only like downfall to that is like they just replaced Edmonds with, not necessarily in the same move, of course, but they just replaced Edmonds with Wilson. So now that they have like more firepower to run and they don't have to worry about necessarily like Mostert getting hurt, there's not really too much of the playbook that Wilson's going to need to know. So there is like that, just to kind of like hedge myself a little bit, kind of give myself a bear argument against Tua. But like I like Tua here and then backstacking him with Gesicki a ton.
Okay.
But like we don't have to we can wait to get Gesicki. And if we miss on Gesicki, like I don't think a naked Tua is the worst thing in the world if we can correlate elsewhere.
Yeah, I think I like naked Tua and Waller, and I like DJ more as the mini off Higgins here.
Yeah, let's run that. I like, it's hard to not like recency bias, of course, is like, yeah, I try not to get too into that, but just like there's merit to what we were seeing with the change in DJ Moore. You know, he's a new coach. Waller
went right in front.
Less competition. Okay, well, nice. Played right into my lap.
Yeah.
The tight end is gross, but there are like some fun options, I will say. Like Dawson Knox is obviously like in play and intriguing. Parham is probably like a very, very sneaky play here. Just because like the Chargers are just like starving for weapons this week against a really bad defense. I don't know about you, dude. I've been going Galaxy Brain way more than I usually do in these drafts this week.
I think it's the right. I think it's the right week for it. And it's because we don't have as many clear-cut, definitive top of the board chalk options as we normally do. Like generally speaking, there is a very, very big consensus in these draft rooms where like these players go in this range no matter what. Cooper Kupp's not even in that range this week. And that says something about the context of the slate in general, right?
I do. Man, I feel like we should be just buying the dip on Kupp like immensely. You know, just thinking about how often he's used. Like if he's a decoy, like I don't know that they would. It just seems like if he's playing, like it's gonna be the same old Cooper Kupp that we've been seeing. Is kind of like what I'm thinking. And him going at 10 is we're probably going to be like, wow, if you got Josh Allen and Kupp, like GG, like that was
right.
it. Like that was like whoever had that, like
it might be better than Josh Allen and Diggs. Like no
key.
joke. It might be better. I don't know. Yeah.
Low key. But yeah, it's tough. And I think I'm just going to like fade the news and buy the dip. Is kind of where I'm at on that.
to point out a couple interesting things here. Blake going with that back stack that we talked about, that Everett Herbert. That
last
seems to be
round Herbert is like,
yeah, that's
wow.
wild. Yeah, that's wild to get a last round Herbert there. I do like this Justin Fields. I'm not sure I love it paired with Herbert. It might be just an exposure
Yeah, that's
style
interesting,
thing.
but
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm a fan of that either. I think Fields is going to be really popular this week just because of like how gross this is, and he doesn't need to be stacked. So I think we're going to see a lot of Fields. So maybe to get different, like actually stack him, probably with Mooney would be like my suggestion. Cause I know me personally, like I'm very much like into naked Fields this week.
Yeah, I do like that a lot too. And I don't think you have to stack him, right? Like he's just not that guy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's
You
like
don't
if
have
we're
to.
buying him, we're buying him for that rushing floor, and we're buying him for the distributed pass tree, right?
Yeah.
Chip
yeah,
asking if he drafted the 50K winner on stream. It looks pretty nice. It looks pretty nice to get Josh Allen plus Cooper Kupp there, and then you still get that Gabe Davis correlation, and then you bought 3 big ceilings in what we deem decently good game environments right there. Let's run one more from the main slate here, and then we might run a hoops or something like that and then call it, because we do have a Discord hang this afternoon. If you are not members of the Discord, the link is in the bio, in the description below. Join the Deposit Kingdom Discord. Pete Overzed will be joining us in there. We are going to bullshit around, maybe crack some beers, draft some teams together, have a laugh, and have like an open forum discourse. I want to do exactly what we're doing right now, but with more people involved. All the people in the chat, if you feel comfortable, turn your cameras on, turn your mics on, whatever it is, and just, have a little discourse with us. Like this will be a really fun afternoon.
Yeah, not like limited to football or sports like at all. Like just like, anything you want to talk about, jam about, like come through. It was a really good time last week. I've heard, because I wasn't able to make it, but excited to hop in there today and say what's up to some of you guys.
Love it. Yeah, that's good. That's gonna be fun. Let's run back one of these here. I wanted more nuggets on the Tampa Bay stuff, because I've been going in on it hard. I think my favorite starts on the slate so far have been Tua doubles, or like Tua plus one of the Miami pass catchers. I've been really gravitating to late running back this week for whatever reason. And in saying that, I think we're going to take Austin Eckler here, because I don't have a ton, and I'd like to just see what it looks like.
Yeah.
I'd like to see what it looks like here.
I mean, dude, it's going to be him. And I think, not that there's any dip to buy, because people are not buying this practice or the injury report stuff like at all, which would have been cool. Like maybe someone's getting a lobby where like
I saw him go at 6.
I was gonna say
there's go at 6.
That's got to be his floor, I would imagine. But who knows? I'm not in here like all the goddamn time. But I would, if he is, like, just fade that. Like they're gonna need him. He's gonna play.
Yeah, I think like he kind of seems like the safest Q tag on the slate right now. That's not like a real Q tag, like he's safer than Kupp right now.
Yeah, definitely. Like Kupp actually like had to like get images done, and we really were not sure what was up with Kupp, but like he's probably being forced to play at gunpoint by McVay. He's like, dude, you're on there. Like, I don't care. Like, is your foot attached? Like, we'll see on the field.
Yeah. What are they? They're 3-5 right now.
Yeah, they're not in good shape at all.
Mm-hmm. This is going to be a fun start, regardless of who we end up with here. I personally, I wanted Kupp there. Yeah, we can make a case for Waddle then plus Tua, because he won't take quarterback, but I think I'd rather take ATN, because I haven't seen him really fall this far, and it kind of looks like a unique start.
Yeah, let's do ETN. I
think Eckler, Waddle, Tua is not nearly as rare as ATN Eckler.
Yeah, not at all. That's definitely going to be really popular if you can get it, and if it's available. I think people kind of like I was when I first saw it, like, oh, that's a smash. Like 101 took Josh Allen, like he can't even take Tua. Like give me that. So I kind of like doing this and just trying to like get the absolute nuts at running back and wide out. And we're going to be left, like, no matter who he takes here, I think we're going to be left with some sick options.
Yeah, what's up, Ben? There we go.
What up, bro?
What's going on, buddy? Oh, man. Someone got an Alan Eckler team in the Discord. Dusty had one of those. Wow.
Of course,
That's
dude.
nice.
Why? It's always Dusty getting these insanely cheesed lineups. Run it back.
I think so. I mean, a third round Devontae Adams just feels like, how do we say no? Direct leverage off of the Jacobs ownership that's going before him. I don't know. Maybe it's a better spot for the run like Mark was chalking up, but he's still Devontae Adams.
He is the passing offense for them. Like, they do not move the ball if it's not through Devontae Adams or Jacobs. And they need Adams for Jacobs to do what he does, I believe. Like, based on what we saw last week a little bit, like, they need each other. So I would take Adams over Higgins like every time. But maybe like Buffalo that. Fox is getting unique, you know, do your thing. But Adams in the third is an auto.
Yeah. Nice. It's actually interesting that Brett got a nice little pick there, getting Jacobs to fall to the third as well. Wow, people are really off the Raiders right now.
Whoa, man. Well, it's Bobby Gutt, man. What the fuck? He's taking Pitts, Murray, Mixon in order there.
Yeah, he's unique, man.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. And it's not getting canceled either. That's not like nuts enough to get canceled. He just getting his guys.
There was a guy this morning, win 7 or something like that. Like a player I'd seen before and getting really weird with it. And DeAndre Swift at the 102, Kyle Pitts as well after that, Amon-Ra St. Brown. So it was like a double Lions. I don't know. Maybe he's just a Lions fan, but he was in multiple drafts at the same time. And yeah, it was just very unique.
Yeah, I question that sometimes. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, what does it matter? Like, if you're trying to get different guys, like, and you don't want any of the top guys, I guess, like, what does it matter? If you're really, really trying to fade the nuts.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you could twist my arm into doing
man, what about Herbert?
Yeah, Herbert Eckler?
Kinda.
Well, we don't need to take him right now. Let's take the wide receiver first. Yeah. Do you like Amon-Ra or do you like Evans?
I like Amon-Ra without Hawkinson.
This sets up for a nice little – we have a mini there. Then we can get Herbert, and we can either add Gerald Everett if he's still there, or it sets up a nice mini backdoor for Robert Tonyan.
Yeah, I'm into all of those. There was a little blur. Lazard and Christian Watson were both in uniform, but will likely still need to be cleared to play at Detroit. So I guess they're not like shoe-ins. So
Rogers bringing up a good point here.
Yeah, like that would be a huge shocker. I don't know what Rogers is projecting in any, like, I know Cardi has Rogers throwing for like nearly 300 yards, but he likes to call his shots on some of these matchups. So I am curious what like Stochastic has. Maybe they're a little closer to Vegas, but definitely seems like a good spot to take a Rogers pass catcher this week.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. There was another one here. Yeah, Chip bringing up the fact that Sauce locking down Diggs this week. I mean, that's a tough draw, but nobody scored in man coverage on Sauce since week 2, I think it is. I heard that nugget on somebody else's show. I can't recall. Can't give credit, but and I probably butchered it.
Sheesh.
But man, Sauce might be that guy.
I mean, it seems straightforward.
Yeah. Sauce might just be like Revis Island 2.0. And it's just kind of like, he's giving the Marshawn Lattimore to Mike Evans treatment to anyone who comes in his yard kind of thing.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. But I do think it wouldn't surprise me if he mixed up his coverage like with Davis and Diggs, just because like Davis is just as dangerous, like truly, for what he can do. He can like Diggs can move the chains, but Davis can put points on the board like in a flash as well. So they're going to have their hands full regardless. They're not going to be able to stop Josh Allen, I don't think. Like Sauce can't do it all.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Chad bringing up a question here, liking Rodgers plus Aaron Jones. I like Rodgers plus Aaron Jones in the same capacity that I like Herbert plus Eckler. Like, it could literally be that 10 catch game. It could be that, we're indoors, we're bad defense, we're chasing points, we're playing a high total game. But that's what Mark was saying. Like, it is the most volatile game on the slate, but that's the variance I want to lean into.
Jonathan Taylor just ruled out officially.
Okay, that's interesting because on my run sheet here, I had a question for both Mark and Pat that I'll now pitch to you. Do we think, okay, let's make this pick. Do we want to stick with the Robert Tonyan?
I think so, dude.
Yeah, the Robert Tonyan run back narrative there.
Yeah, I think that they are needed for one another.
Yeah, and if the pass catchers are ruled out again, I mean, we can't rule out a 5 to 8 target game from him. And
given the state of tight end. But what were you saying?
Deion Jackson. I've yet to see him get drafted in these contests. We saw him break a slate and win somebody $50K already. Is he viable this week?
Oh, dude, yes. I wish we could have brought this up, but I don't know that maybe the other guys would be like as bullish as I am, but like I am very much into Deion Jackson this week in the battle royales. Given how deep running back is, people aren't really going down that far to get Deion Jackson. Given that there's still well over half of the drafts yet to go, that could probably change like very quickly. But the Patriots are not good against the run. The Colts can't really do a whole lot right now other than run, given that they have Ellinger in there. And the secondary for the Patriots is like damn near elite. Jackson looks good. Like he looked good whenever given the job and been asked to do a lot, and he looked good. Now there's no Hines there either to like kind of chew into his role. It's like him and Phillip Lindsay. Dude, like Deion Jackson, I think is going to be like, I don't know what his salary is on DK, but I think he's going to be like super duper chalk.
Yeah, I think it will trend in that direction. I don't have the salaries in front of me. I suppose I could. They're a morning game. Let's see.
And Reich even says this is a week
5,200.
So they did acquire Zach Moss. That's another guy there.
Yep.
Colts aren't sure yet if Zach Moss is ready to make a contribution. I mean, I don't know if Zach Moss is ready to make a contribution, even if he was asked. So
right, yeah, exactly. The one number now, granted, the quarterback situation has changed. We've discussed that and whatnot, but he had 10 targets. He had 10 targets in his one running back start. That is a very, very encouraging number for a site that rewards catches with a half point. I mean, it's a more encouraging on DraftKings or something like that. But I just, here we go. Jackson's ADP hasn't really moved, 36 to 35.8. Now that Taylor's been ruled out, I think we see that creep up, and it finishes the week around 31, 32, something like that. I don't think he gets the Pollard treatment, but I think it might be warranted. He might warrant something like that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see too much movement, honestly.
Brett asking how common the Hill Cup Evans. I mean, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love that mini stack with the Evans Cup this week.
That's going to be hard to get.
That is going to be hard to get. I know old John Boy has at least one in the chamber, but yeah, something like that. I think that's a really, really nice build there. Yeah, let's say we don't have a resident hoops expert on the program right now. Maybe we'll draft some hoops in the Discord hang later.
Games. Oh,
but
wow.
But we're gonna do it. We're gonna try. We're going to try our very best. Nez is going to guide me through this marshland that is NBA hoops slate, a 12-gamer this evening.
Oh, boy. I haven't even looked at totals.
Drew's got one of those wide receiver combos as well. So I think it's beautiful. I don't think it's crazy rare. I think it's really nice. Obviously, I roll the 1-0-1 because no one runs better than me, other than Alexander Bokrov's shots on net. But that's Influencer 101, man. It's a thing. It's a thing. You know what? Shout out to the Influencer 101. We kept this behind closed doors the whole time. Let's get ourselves some value in this draft, huh?
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
You're so sick. That was so bad.
I'm a little pup, man. I'm just learning how to howl. I haven't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, paired with Jacobs. Paired with Jacobs is a really nice additive. That's a good nugget to throw in there because that is big time. Yes, Willis. Woo!
Thank you. Who you telling, man? That was just as poor as mine.
Oh yeah,
we're going Luka 101. By the way, Luka is.
Whoa, Luka. I thought it's a full-fledged Giannis slate.
It's.
All right.
I mean,
you're the hoops
no.
Hoops guy.
I mean,
we're talking about the MVP. Bob's gonna scold us if we don't take Giannis here.
Go take Giannis so we can dunk on Numi, so we can dunk on his Timberwolves.
Let's go. Giannis
but Luka wants MVP this year. He wants it. I can tell.
Yeah. Here we go. Yes, Giannis projected 7 more points than Luka. Thank you. Some voice of reason.
What are we?
Out here.
We projection
Giannis
bros now?
101. I'm a projection bro when it comes to supporting my argument.
When it comes to whatever priors, I need confirmed.
Yeah, if I'm confirming my priors, you bet your ass I'm a projection bro.
Okay, well we'll take that. I hope we don't have Embiid staring us in the face. Did he play recently?
Is he a decision point of the slate? Well, there you go.
Okay.
Chad took Embiid at the 6th there. He knows his hoops, so yeah.
Yeah.
ETR projection usually has Luka's ceiling higher. Interesting. That's very interesting.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's fun. You can't. I mean, 1 and 2, you can't go wrong. Willis is my boy. Willis is all about the Dallas big boys, though. He likes Luka and he loves Zeke. So anybody that's thick and plays for a Dallas team, that's Willis's boy.
I love it.
Luka's thick. Let's not discredit that.
That's great. Newbie sending us value picks in the Discord.
He did. I'm trying not to look because I want to go straight takes and just
go.
But it's tough not to whenever he's got it so beautifully formatted. Shout out Newbie, just grinding hard. He's got 6K coming his way soon. I know it.
Oh yeah.
All right. So Book stands out to me.
Okay.
If you just want to queue him up and we can keep looking. I don't know how cute we want to get here necessarily, because it seems like we're reaching a pretty obvious tier break.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we could do the cat. Is there any merit to them D'ing each other up a little run back there? I mean, I don't know.
I think so. Maybe I think if that's a neck and neck game and they're and they're pushing the pace both ways. I think that there's merit to a run back there because even still, if it wasn't him, Donovan's questionable and Garland, I don't see why.
Garland came back and did some absolute work
because he's the fucking guy, dude. Man. Cleveland is so nice. They are so nice, and Garland's the truth. And it's just his eye, right? Is his eye gonna be fatigued? Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? I mean, maybe a conditioning thing. I could see that, but he's
let's see here. I got a name in my mind that hasn't gone yet that we maybe should have taken there, but I'm holding one behind the curtain here, gentlemen.
Let's take a look at the okay. So
I got 2. I'm gonna drop in the chat here because that one.
All right, let me take a look.
I like these 2 players. I don't know if they'll come back to us.
Wait, which chat are you in?
I don't know. I probably just put it in the chat for everyone.
That would be fun. At the very least, that would be a lot of fun.
Okay. Chip saying that he's in one right now, and
we are influencers.
22. Yeah.
It's because we're influencers.
Yeah.
It's us. Sorry guys. We're market makers.
Market makers. Spider.
Yeah, Bane is super popular. Who are the Grizz playing tonight? The Hornets. Oh boy.
Is that pace up spot? That's a pace up spot, eh?
The Hornets, Hornets are just
Chad took one of my guys. I wanted that Garland Q tag. I wanted that.
I wonder who's projected to be in for the Hornets. Like I said, dude, I haven't done any research on this whatsoever, so I don't know if Rozier is is looking to come back yet. I don't think so.
No, we got
nobody back yet.
Yeah, I kind of like a potential little Kelly Oubre here. Not maybe with our 6th pick. He kind of feels like a nice little whatever. I played a lot of Dennis Smith the other night.
Yeah, that's
fun.
Shit,
we're on the clock.
I was going to say, bro.
Classic
fuck.
John.
I wanted Desmond Bane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Well, it wouldn't be a Badge Bros stream if we didn't take DeMar DeRozan.
Oh my god. Do
Who
we
was the
have
other
to?
name I said in the chat? I forgot already.
Cue him up. Wait, dude, we're
Maxie.
auto drafting him. He's gone.
Oh,
He would have been
man.
at the top of the queue.
Yeah,
right.
Maxie was my guy here.
So we
All
just
right, we're
auto
taking
drafted
DeMar.
DeRozan.
No, we didn't auto draft it. I selected him. You know,
I know.
DeMar DeRozan is the man of the stream.
conscious
We
decision.
play him every night.
And then I think, what about Bam? Like, what's is he? He's got the Q tag right now.
Yeah, knew we were lost without you, dude. This
I
is
know.
insane.
Or what's up with the Jazz?
Let's do Bam.
take Bam.
Let's do Bam. You know, Bam he just seems like a good hoops guy. You know, he can play on both ends of the floor. You know, contribute some defensive stats for us. Fuck, who knows?
We have no idea why we're counting.
Yeah,
him.
no Jimmy. That's what I meant. Yeah, definitely. No Jimmy tonight. Bam is the target. Numi's all over it.
Thank God. This is all we need. 4th round tomorrow. We know, Chip.
Why? What? He was the top of the queue. It's a great pick.
What's Levine's playing? Oh, fuck.
Dude, we tried so hard in the chat to help. We're swimming uphill right here.
This is the best. This is what people want.
Say no, Jimmy, and you're smart. Yeah,
a bunch of no ball knowing dudes just coming in and Q. Fan of the stock market, I guess. Chad, Invesco over there.
All right, we need a sneaky little nugget for this last one. I think I got a player. I got
like 7, man. This is easy. This is easy. What's up with
this guy
raps? Good? Sure. Who's in for the raps? What are we projecting there? Freddie's
maybe
back.
Freddie Vlanfeet back. Siakam already obviously went in the first round or whatever. Scotty Barnes, OG. They're kind of projecting everybody to be back. Let's take a look at the old injury report there.
You're gonna miss our pick.
I know. This is what I'm here for, man. Well, Bam's on the injury report too.
But he's playing.
Okay.
Because I said so.
Yeah. Fred VanVleet.
Coloco. I'm not playing Coloco.
I hear Mr. Good Boy waking up over there. Mr.
Good
Boy knows what time it is.
Damn, bro. What's up with Simons? That stinks. Well, L-Dog taking the shot on him anyways.
Okay.
Numi's got. There's a guy that Numi's got.
Yeah, here's
for
a
us.
guy.
But can you scroll down a little bit on the player pool there? I just would like to.
Absolutely not.
Thanks. Yeah, there's not like a whole lot here.
Scotty Barnes. You get the Fred.
I'm always down
VanVleet
for a little
then,
like RJ Barrett night, but
yeah, good Canadian boy. This was the name that I put in the chat.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know.
Numi loves Markkanen for us.
You know what? My eyes went to Markkanen for some reason too. I think someone else said it in the chat beforehand as well. Obviously, he balled out these 2 games, and then I played the shit out of him when he got the 20 points there. But tried my best. Let's do it. Man. Yeah. He's got one of the worst. He's got one of the worst headshots on Underdog. I'm gonna go out and say it. He has one of the worst headshots on Underdog. All right, chat. Should we call it there, or should we run one more Hoops Guys draft here? First comment in the chat. If someone says no, we're out. Tried my best. We got no idea, man. We're swimming upstream here, Brett. Without Numi, we're swimming upstream. 12 games, so many options, fun ass slate.
We got
you know what?
Run it.
Yeah, one more.
Run
All right, one more. We got to. I mean, if the chat's still hanging around, who are we not to provide the amazing, insightful basketball content?
It's just what they want, man. You gotta feed in.
Yeah.
Who are we without y'all?
Let me reiterate that we are going to be doing that Discord Deposit Kingdom hang at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. So please do, if you guys have some free time this afternoon, come back, hang out, draft some teams together, talk a little shop, BS around. I threw out the idea of doing a couple snake drafts of non-sports related stuff. So if that's something that you guys would be into in participating, something like that, bringing up like an Excel sheet and then just being like drafting comedy TV shows, drafting movies, drafting something like that, and just bullshitting around. Hey, look, there you go, Brett. Like you get the influencer 101 by telling us to draft one more time.
Should
Good things come your way.
we bring in a cameo appearance here? Should we call guns, the big guns?
All right. Who are we calling in?
Welcome.
Oh, there he is. The overlays cannot hold him back. The overlays will not hold him down.
He was a game time decision. Lo and behold, for situational purposes.
Candy. Best Halloween candy is a fun one, Willis. I like that.
Good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
There's some controversial takes in there.
Oh yeah.
What
I
up,
mean,
Mr.
Reese's
Goodboy?
Peanut Butter Cups 101. Yeah, I told you, Mr. Goodboy. I heard him wake up, and I was like, "Oh, he's coming. He's coming. He's lying on the bed in the other room. Like, I know what he's doing."
Numi, how many drafts are you in on hoops so far?
I'm in 2 right now live, so I'm trying to finish these.
Bro, I'm at like,
but
so
done.
like 50?
Yeah, no, I've done 20. Yeah.
Okay.
20. Okay.
Yeah, it's a fun slate.
12 games, dude. That's exciting.
I don't know. I will be honest. I'm gonna put something out here. I don't know if it's true, but my lineups that I've done the best, I have drafted closer to lock. No, I think KD knows no.
Just in general.
No,
Yeah,
Kyrie.
KD with no Kyrie makes a lot of sense, right? That's a lot of usage.
It's gonna be all KD. Should be all KD.
I like
but
it.
yeah. My teams that have been doing better, dude. I've been drafting like later towards lock. Like I've just been. I don't know. It just seems like the
Why do you think that? Do you think maybe like the people that draft late are not as tuned into like the injury reports and aren't aware like where the leverage is, or do you think you can just make clearer decisions?
Yeah, no, I think that specifically that, and then also I think people maybe overreact to news too much. Like all of a sudden someone's ruled out, and then I think we touched on it on I mean, this is just one isolated example, but you can probably put it into more if I were to go back and do the research. But that no Jimmy, and then everyone started just bumping up Bam.
Okay, and pause. We have Curry out, Wiggins out, Clay out, Draymond out.
Yeah. Curry just got ruled out. According to
breaking
Chad.
news. Should we
Holy
take
Pascal?
come on, we got 10 seconds. Should we take Pascal or should we go for like Poole or something?
No,
not yet.
No.
Okay.
No. That's when people. That's the exact mistake I see.
That would be.
Okay, dude, I'm trying my best.
That would be dumb.
Just be impressed that I knew that Poole would get a bump with those guys being out. All right, I'm going somewhere.
Yeah, the entire. Poole for sure. That entire team is gonna get a bump. Like James Wiseman's gonna be interesting now if he's gonna get the full allotment of like if they're gonna actually stretch him out and give him minutes.
I like that.
So who the hell is
and
what is their starting?
This is the highest total game on the slate, so I don't know if
that's going to change.
That's going to change too. So
I got a hot take about pool parties. Listen here, boys. Everyone can look good at a pool party in the water, nipples up. Everyone, anyone can look good. You go to a pool party in Vegas, you see all those guys with the 6-packs, all this stuff trying to wheel the girls. Don't be about that shit. Go in the pool, stand waist deep. The reflection comes off the water. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You don't have to compete with those guys. That's the pool party take. The Vegas pool party take right there.
I'm usually not a pool guy at a pool party. Like I'm usually out and about, but at Vegas, and if it's like 120 degrees, like you bet your ass I'm in that pool. Like
it's a cesspool. It's a cesspool, but you got to get in there.
Yeah, it's Twitter.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
Twitter,
maybe like
Twitter. Yeah, the water is
maybe condom up if you're in there. Just
protect yourself.
Put them around the entire family jewels just to be safe.
Yeah, either that or immediately go get checked right after you're at that party. Yeah, just make a beeline right to it.
Look at this. Willis made a money out here buying the VIP cabanas. Woo!
Let's go. Cabanas are so sick. Assuming I want to wait for this pick to come out before all right, so like Curry. Okay, get the swap, buddy.
I like Maxey a lot here.
Really? I was gonna say Kristaps against Brooklyn, dude. They can't stop
anything. You can definitely do Kristaps for sure. It's just Beal is a nice consolation if you could get that other piece and just kind of playing it. But Kristaps is him.
I mean,
sure.
Okay, which one you guys want?
Let's go. Super Zingis. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Yeah, you do bring up a good point about the consolation prize there, though. Like just looking at the board right now and knowing that like we got Sam behind us, sharp player, probably going to be on some of the same stuff that you're on. Like I'd imagine he takes Garland and Maxey here, but yeah, it would have opened the door if we take Maxey first to then maybe Porzingis falls. He probably won't, but then Beal is kind of like the back door. I'm not sure if we want to pair Beal with Kristoff. I don't know.
I got a question for you, Numi. With Jimmy Butler out, like, does that give Halliburton like a bump for you? Like for me, like seeing him in the fourth is like, I know Dino Core's probably got him ready to click. Oh, like for me,
Maxey.
I like Hallie here.
I'm such a
for
Halliburton
sure.
stan.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think another thing to add on that is if Bam is out too, that also then just boom, their defense just goes down. Like that's another domino.
More assists for him. Like
you take out Jimmy for sure. And I think projections around the industry can maybe kind of like agree with that sentiment, getting him a little higher ceiling bump and just a floor as well. So yeah.
Shout out Chris G, by the way, my guy.
Yeah,
what up, Popo?
Yo, guys, you know what? I'll save it for another day because
why are we looking at your Facebook feed right now?
He brought up Encore Beach Club. I didn't bring it up. So one night we're there, right? And
of course,
you guys want a John story? One night we're there, and it's Tiesto. This is like 7-8 years ago, something like that. And you know how like memories come back up on your Facebook? It came up like recently, and a guy goes, "Yo, I'll pay you $1,500 to jump in the pool." Like it's like a roped off pool. It's at nighttime. It's at nighttime. He goes, "You got to go full clothes. And then nobody can leave with you. You can't have a phone. You can't have a whatever. You got to find your own way home." So I jump in the pool, like with all the security guards like around waiting for me, and I'm dancing like this, and Tiesto is spinning tracks like right here. Everybody else on the dance floor, and it's just me dancing in the water behind. And then I had to walk a shame because I had no money, I had no nothing. I had to walk a shame all the way down the Vegas Strip, soaking wet in bare feet until I got back to the Aria and just
Did you get your money?
Yeah, I got paid. Yeah, I actually got paid twice because he was so drunk when he came back to the room. He paid me twice, and then I gave it back to him in the morning. Who do you guys like here? What about Hero with where's marketing?
Double.
Okay. Yeah, I like Hero too.
Yeah, let's go. Nicely done.
Like I'll be honest, marketing definitely is someone I'm trying to leave a lot of drafts with, but I also like Hero a lot too, specifically because
because Hero has a big usage bump coming.
Yeah.
And Indy sucks at defense. So
and to Bob's point, Bam did go through shoot around. So I was just mainly saying in case Bam's out, because as we've seen now with like the NBA injury report is just fiction until lock starts. So
right.
What do you think?
What do you think about this?
Yeah, for sure. Him
if he plays,
him. Another Q tag I like is Rudy. Another guy I like is Levine. I think a lot of people.
Give me a name.
Let's take Simons.
Yeah, Simons.
Okay, cool.
DeRozan just going from fourth round to undrafted.
I think it's fair.
Now that we got Numi
projections.
Now that we got Numi here, we got to run one more here.
Let me blow my nose.
We're falling apart.
Go ahead. Yeah, I don't think
anyone's stop by all means. Yeah. let me get you a Kleenex.
No, you will not blow your nose.
Oh man, this is a cool story that Chris bringing up. They played blackjack with Paul George at the Encore Beach Club. In the middle of the club, at the very back, they have blackjack tables like inside the club.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Anything cool I've done?
Actually, we played with Tito Ortiz there one night. He's a regular at the Win, and we sat with Tito Ortiz at the Win and played blackjack one night.
Oh, sure, yeah, more. Mo Bamba, Kelly Olynyk, all of the guys. I have just who else? I mean, Shaq. You can have a Shaq story. Like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you Shaquille O'Neal story.
Okay. I got some.
I met the whole TNT crew. I was just basically up there with Charles and the crew.
Yeah, I was actually on the broadcast.
Yeah. They cut it out. They realized, Kevin Hart came. They're like, he's going to be a lot better. But, I was there for a bit. You're going to tell us all this stuff. Yeah.
Actually, one of the weirdest guys, not weirdest, but like one of the strangest encounters I ever had in Vegas was Lamar Odom. That guy was a little weird. I don't know.
Yeah, if just the Lamar Odom story, I think that can go.
Oh, there you go.
hand in
Saw
hand.
Shaq in South Beach. Cool. Yeah, Chris got some stories. We need Chris's stories on it.
Friends and family. Sir Bag Chaser, this guy.
That's such a good screen name. It's such a good screen name.
I see him. I think it's mainly basketball is what I see him in. And FSU for Cole, that guy.
Yeah, he's in everything.
Yeah. Oh, he is? Okay, I mainly see him in.
Yeah, mainly basketball. I see him in the football though too.
Okay, right on. Yeah, it's well, now that I'm kind of lost. This is why NBA is the worst sport in terms of like just pay. I mean, it's a full-time
Do we like
job
Ja?
because I don't know. I would go with LeBron or Joel.
All right, let's go with LeBron. Let's go with LeBron because
I mean, I like Ja, but I like the
Maxey
others
later.
more. So
yeah,
Are things looking good for Embiid to play?
it's still questionable. It's just if he has the third high for me. He has like the fourth or third highest ceiling. However you want to do it. Like if he is playing, yeah, and I know it's tough, but I think on these maybe this is where on a larger slate I'm willing to maybe eat that because I've seen a lot of teams eat that early queue and still get that guy up there with a 40-50 burger, and it's like that's
and then they swap to somebody that is like a really good undrafted pick.
Yeah, they just basically will put in the top projection. They'll put in like as soon as the news updated, like 5 minutes before slate, just update the rankings. Then that's when you need to update your rankings. It's like as soon as the slate is about to lock.
Bro, I am dead. Easiest 1500 of all time. Act as if you have never changed.
I've never changed.
Oh my god!
Look at this fucking filmed with a potato.
Look at this fucking.
Oh
guy.
shit, we're on the clock. Hey, Siakam, that's fun. Sure.
Siakam. Yeah,
as long Siakam.
John get a player name right. Challenge impossible.
Siakam. Oh my god, dude, this shit was filmed with like a potato, eh? Look at this.
Yeah, that was the quality Bop was watching the stream on for earlier.
Yeah, right.
Look at this guy. What an asshole. Who is this asshole?
When does security come?
They come grab me on the other side in like the non-camera. They're just
playing it so cool.
No dance moves.
Oh my god. Yeah, get this dude out of here.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That looks like a guy that pronounces him Siakam, if I've ever seen one.
That's worth a second place bank in the Sunday showdown.
Siakam.
Easy. We're PG-13 over here.
Oh, a night swim. That's funny.
Screw the pick.
I just wanted to make sure we didn't get Curry. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure we didn't get Steph.
Oh yeah, they haven't marked him out yet.
No, he's still marked in. You guys said Halliburton. How about Maxey?
He's out now.
We haven't got Maxey yet. Should we get Maxey here, or do we like Booker?
I don't like Maxey.
Over Book for real.
Wow. Over Book. That's a hot, spicy take. All right. For Newman.
I mean, dude,
let's do it. Let's get spicy.
Let's do it. Let's get weird.
I mean, dude, he's averaging 50. I mean, okay, we know it's small sample size, so we got, but sure. in per 36 minutes without James Harden on the court, he's averaging 53 fantasy points. Like,
okay. Yeah,
I just and Booker's just been kind of like rolling with the team. Like they don't need Booker to go off for his things because that team is just really, really good, and they can just destroy you with so many guys. Like,
what about Beal? We said we liked Beal, right?
Yeah, fire him up.
Yes, either Beal or Cade
or Bane. What about Bane?
Yes, Bane.
Yes,
he said either Beal or Bane. Yes.
Yes.
Bane.
Okay.
I don't know. Beal's tough. You really just need him to be on and get his shots. And like, if he's not going to be playing that point Beal anymore, and ball's going to be out of his hands, it's just it's tough. Yeah, like if you look at his game log, it's not the Bradley Beal you would expect with the team around. I guess you have Kristaps there, but you would think Bradley Beal's the alpha in there, and he's just not getting the usage.
Yeah.
Right. He's kind of reverted to those like pre John Wall days, like, or I mean, like before when John Wall was there, right?
Mhm.
Like, we
Yeah,
saw the
where
last
he would, you saw
year
his
and a half
ceiling
without
at
him.
times.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
it wasn't consistent, which is like,
Mhm.
you're technically, you're trying to find it, but yeah, 5th round Beal's perfectly fine with me there. You know what I mean? Like that's
Sure.
5th and 6th is when I would totally.
Yeah, fair enough. I got a name right now that jumps out to me, and it
Bam.
is this one.
Bam, for sure.
Man, see, I'm ahead of the curve here. I know this hoop shit.
Give yourself some credit, man.
Yeah, him going through shoot around is a good sign. Like that's a very good sign.
Pool Maxi Hero all same tier today. I like that
Hero?
call.
Who invited my man? We're really putting Hero up there?
No?
Pool's up there for sure now that with all that out. Like that's Pool and Maxi.
Yeah.
Hero's
When
close.
did Pool go?
I don't.
23. Your mouse was right there.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. 23. Yeah, that seems like a really good pick.
And see,
obviously Chad's all over it.
Yeah, this is where you can honestly, if you're taking Curry at all in that first, him, or I mean, if you want to get different, just so you're not fighting with the same points as everyone else, Gobert. We could run it back with Dennis Smith Jr. Kelly.
Don't twist his arm. He's right there. He's right there. Oh no. Okay.
I put Dennis Smith Jr.'s name in the chat earlier, and like I thought I was so smart. I typed it to Nez, and I was like, man, I'm so fucking smart for putting this name in the chat. I got it.
Oh my god.
Love that.
Oh man. All right, let's wrap her up after that one.
For sure.
Thanks for hopping on to guide us through these treacherous waters, Numi. Sorry you fell victim to the overlays this morning. Working the magic behind the scenes.
That was his call.
Yeah, that was his call. That was his call. To be fair, it was
a lot more gained out of there when you didn't have a bunch of people just sitting here looking at a screen. You could just get all that out of Pat.
Yeah,
that was a great show.
I mean, even four in the booth is hard sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Like I talk too much, I know that, but like it's like, it's hard to feel around four voices, right?
We gotta keep the content aesthetically pleasing, so it's not just this big hodgepodge. You know what I mean? Everyone just what'd you say? And then Nez is like, what would you? No, you go.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, man, I get it. I have spotty connection every 10 minutes. Get off my ass.
On track to play.
Love it.
And Deadman added to the injury report. That's a nice little nugget there. So that opens up maybe even more potential.
That's what that's what I'll say. I'll just say, I mean, we'll talk about it more. I won't harp on it, but yeah, it's just pay attention to this. Don't worry too much about drafting those Q guys. You'll get a plenty of guys that in the drafts you just drafted aren't going to be drafted, and you just put them in your rankings however you want, and you're going to get a lot of guys with maybe a little tier below ceiling, but very close that you can that work out. So, I mean, Jordan Poole stepping in for your Steph Curry shares. Steph Curry shares is like, that's fine. Like, that's fine with me. With all of those guys out, like that's I
didn't want to draft $100 worth of hoops today, but goddamn it, Numi, you pulled me in. Really didn't want to do it.
You love to see it.
I'll send you a sheet because I'm waiting for.
I can't wait to turn that into minus $77. Can't wait.
Yeah, I will. I don't know. Yeah, just barbell it, draft a little later to lock. We'll be in there. We'll have some fun times in the Discord hang too. So should be fun.
Yeah. So just reminder everybody who is
absolutely.
not in the Discord, please go ahead and join in the Discord there, and come hang out with us. We're gonna be in there. Pete's gonna come hang out. That's a big draw. Obviously, you guys want to hang out with Pete, not us. But but that'll be fun. It'll be fun. It'll be
if you need a Discord link, I know there's one in the description, but just hit us up, and we can help you out with that.
All right, time for everybody's favorite part of the show: me dancing.
Get out of here!
Yeah.
All right.
I'm like Nardwar at the end of the Nardwar interviews.
Thank you so much, Pat Kerrane, being here. Thank you so much for Mark Garcia being here. We got Herzig next week. We got Hayden Winks next week. We got JM to win next week. Good luck to everybody this weekend, and we will see you in the Discord.
2 hours.
Yeah, in 2 hours there. So Shout outs to everybody. And again, Carlos, big shout out to winning last night. You love to see it. Love a member of the Badge Brigade getting in there. Winner's Circle Monday. If you want it, it's yours. Everybody's favorite time of the show. The end. Peace.